Hi everyone, I'm back here to record an how-to video for Shimmerz, and I'm going to be doing a multimedia layout using layers and using this picture of my daughter. It's hard to see, this picture of my daughter, and I'm going to be building all the layers on this plain white cardstock, and I will show you the process, and it's all my thinking process as I'm going through it. I haven't pre-planned this layout, so I'm not really sure how it's going to work out, but I really imagine her as a beautiful fairy in a garden, and that's what I want to create around her today. To start off, I'm going to use some heavy gesso, it's Liquitex, and I'm going to be spreading it with a palette knife over some parts of my layout, just to make a base. I mean, I want to layer everything, so it's always good to start. I think I'm going to center my picture around here, so I just want to basically just make a really rough, you don't have to really predict this. I like having it uneven, because that, and you can make a thick or a thin layer. I just want to make not too thick of a layer, just because it will take longer to dry, but just basically just a little bit of play around. You might not even see most of it underneath, that's why I'm scraping the center, but it's just to give it an extra layer, and some of the pieces will be peeking underneath the whole layout. I think I might even continue it over here to create, because I'm imagining the garden going all across the page, so just something like this. Okay, thanks. Let it dry and I will come back soon to show you the next step. For the next step, I'm going to just spray a few shimmers on my page. I've chosen this cotton candy shimmer, and I'm going to be randomly spraying it over the gesso to just give it some color before I add the next. And it's very light, as you can see, so you don't have to worry about making mistakes. Then I also want to add some of the Razzle Dazzle Berry, and I'm just going to shake it a little bit. Oops, and that one is a little bit darker, but again, adds a beautiful color to it. And if you think it's too much, you can always grab a wipe, like I always do, and actually, oh, look at the amazing effect that it does. So you never know what's going to come out, so it's always nice to try things, and if you don't like it, you can always take a new cardstock. I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, now my background is dry. As you can see, it's very light and shimmery, and not too overpowerful, so you can build on it and not have to worry that it takes over your page. I am going to add the next layer, which is using this mask from Prima. This is, I think, a mask from last year, and I am going to create sort of like a, I don't know, grass or garden at the bottom of the page, using my light molding paste, which I introduced in my last video, and a lot of you emailed me about it and asked me what it is, and it's just really wonderful. I bought a new package, as you can see, because it's brand new, and I'm gonna use my handy palette knife, which is actually my fingers, because I just find that it goes on the smoothest with it, and I'm gonna be able to control where are the areas that I want to mask with it. So I'm going to, and this one is actually really brand new, so it hasn't even dried up, and I'm just going to create a little bit of grassy area at the bottom, that when dried I can either paint or spray, and it will just look as part of that garden that I'm trying to create. And I'm going to move the mask around to different areas of just to get like different heights of the swirls here, because I just like different ones, and there's some shaped like hearts. So let me just go here, and this little one, I'm going to catch this little one here, and then as I'm moving the mask along, I can get different. I'm gonna turn it around maybe and get this one over here, which is, it looks like a heart, and I just want to make sure to line it up so you don't end up having parts that are higher than others. And here's the other one. I might even get this little crown thing here at the top. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's really just basically making up the bottom part of the garden. And one last one, I want to find just a different one. Maybe I'll do a repeat of this last flourish going in the other direction. I can't get the whole flourish, so I'll just get half of it. And just make it the way you can match it up to the page. Don't worry about messing up. Really, like, I mess up all the time and you can't even tell because I just use other ways to fix it. And there you have it. As you can see, here is you can see the different areas of it. I'm just trying to show you how it looks at the bottom, but you can probably see it from far away. And I will let it dry. I previously primed these beautiful flourishes from Too Crafty. They're called Cassie's or Casey's flourishes, and I'm going to paint them in this Shimmerz Pearls. It's called Sunny Side Up. I just want to make them yellow because I'm planning on incorporating yellow into my layout. And I will be just roughly painting them just to give it some color. Nothing fancy. Just want to get it all over. When you're using shimmer paints, you want to make sure if you want a really light color, then just use don't mix it up and just use the top of the water. But if you want to have a little bit of the pigment showing through and the shimmer, just dig in the bottom. There is lots of good stuff there that can be used to give your project a really beautiful shine and color. Here I'm finishing this one, and I'll finish the other one too. I've sprayed here on my side a few different shades of yellowy orange, and I'm going to just color in the design to just add a little bit of color at the bottom of the page, because I'm going to be putting the flourishes at the top of the page. As you can tell, it spilled a little bit, so I'll be using it, and I'll as much as I can to make sure that I don't waste it. I tried my best, but it just spilled out of the bottle by accident. And then I will show you the rest of the design. I took another Too Crafty chipboard piece called Angie's Vine, and I primed it with gesso, and then I'm going to spray it with Razzle Dazzle Berry. It's another Shimmerz. It's a Shimmer Vibes. It's just to give it, and it's, you know, see, look, when you prime it, look how much darker it becomes. And what I do, so I don't waste too much of it, I do grab a paintbrush and I try to like dab some of it on so we don't waste it. Actually, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to let this dry, and in the meantime I'm going to use some of this leftover like shimmer paint, and I'm going to use it on my layout. I'm going to have to put it a little bit on an angle, just because I have to put the layout a little bit of an angle, just because I just sprayed in the center, but just a little bit of I'm gonna go inside and mix it all up, and then here, as you can see, I'm going to like just darken a little bit the areas where the pink is. I don't want anything to go to waste, and once it dries it will not look so messy. But as you can see, like the shimmer paints dry really light and shimmery, which is something I really like, because so many of us are afraid to, so many of you are afraid to use the color, to fear that it might be too bright or it might ruin your page. But truthfully, when you use these shimmers, you don't have to be afraid. You can always build up, so you can start with light colors and then build up from now. And you see now it's a little bit darker, and then I can still add a little bit to mix it up, a little bit of the cotton candy, and it lightens it up if you don't like it so dark. And there you go. I'm gonna wait till it dries. Since the shimmers actually pulled on the page, I am going to let it run through the cracks of the, by moving it back to the cracks of the design here, and let it give it a little bit of an extra shine. I know, a little bit of more pink at the bottom. Let me go back this way so you can see, oops, that you can see the design. I'm going to use some, and then if I spray some more pink on this side, I will let it run on this side too. See, and it kind of like blends it all together. There you go. We're going to let it dry now. I really like how it turned out. So I know this looks to you maybe like a big blob. However, I'm going to assemble the layout now and put all my picture, my embellishments and everything, and you're going to see how everything comes together. My anchor for this layout is this big flourish that is basically going to be in the center over here. And then I'm going to have the yellow flourishes that I painted. I'm going to put them on the side over here. So this is more or less going to be my design. Then I'll take my picture and I'm going to place it right on top of these, kind of centering it. And now I'm going to start layering my flowers. I'm using Prima flowers, some of my favorites. These ones are the Odette flowers, are just really they're one of my favorite ones because they're so light. They're pastel colors, and they're perfect matching for this. I'm also putting these, this yellow flower from last year. I think it's from the Ladybird collection. And this one is going to go over here. And then I have this shabby chic bench that I really like. I haven't been able to use it yet, so I'm using it right now. And I'm going to layer it with a small yellow Korean flower and and a little, I think these are Merci flowers, and I'm just going to put it over here. Then, and I have another little Merci flower to layer over here. I also have two shabby chic fairies, and these, I don't know, I think maybe like here, kind of flying in the air. The other one would go over here. And then I have this I bought at the Trinket Track. Oh, it's hard for me to say that, but as you can see, I have an accent, and some things are not as easy. And I'm gonna kind of add it over here. I really like this one over here. And now I'm just going to glue it, and then I'm going to do the finishing touches. I'm not going to show you how I'm gluing it. I do use Fabri-Tac just so, yeah, to glue the flowers and everything, but it's not something that I need to show you. I'm sure you know how to glue. So I'm just going to glue it now and then come back to show you the finishing touches. Okay, now that I've glued everything, I am going to just add the title on the side. I'm going to add it here. I'm going to call this layout Fairy, and basically because my daughter really looks like a fairy here. So I'm going to add, I'm using these Webster's Pages letters, which are really pretty because they're script, and just writing the word. Oops, and you see it's not straight, so just to straighten it up a little bit. Fairy, there you go. Okay, I also decided to add some more flowers. I grabbed some white Prima flowers, different kinds, and I just want to kind of stuff them on the sides just to add a little bit more volume to the layout. I just think it looks, I like tucking them underneath to just add that. And we can then have one here, or maybe one here, and then one over here, and yeah, and you see it just adds a little bit of an extra specialty to the garden. Okay, I'm gonna glue these and I will come back soon. The last thing I usually do, and I did show it in my other layout the other day, is that I blend it all in with gesso. I use the golden gesso, and I just basically take a little bit of it and I just put it around the edges of the flowers, and just to basically match it all in. Sometimes even just to also, it gives it like an edge, a rough look, and you can really, you know, hide any bright colors that you might not want to have on the layout, or any dark colors. It's just nice to blend it all in together, and you're adding like a little bit of distressed look to the page. So I'll continue to do this, and then I'll show you the final step. You do want to have a fairly dry brush so you don't get a lot on the actual flowers, and it looks very natural. The final step is that I add a little bit of cheesecloth onto the layout. I usually add it underneath the flowers, in and around the flowers. I've already pre-cut some of them, and I'm going to add them underneath or around, just because it really adds a soft and dreamy look to the layout, and you end up seeing these wisps coming out of them, from underneath the flowers, and it just looks so magical and so beautiful, especially in a layout like this. We'll continue to go around and in between to find the areas that I think will look the best. It's just more layering. That's what it helps. It helps to layer everything together. And if you see it's not wispy enough, just pull the edges and it will just hang loosely. Any piece is good. I don't throw out anything. I literally buy it at Walmart, and I just find it so helpful to really tie in my layout together. Put some here. And I need a little piece maybe underneath the bench. Sometimes it's not so easy to lift up your projects if they're really glued in together, and I might have to add some more glue, but it might be okay. Sometimes I just thinking maybe I could like add a little bit of wisps here going up the layout to mimic the vines. Yeah, that looks really nice. So maybe more here. And you really don't have to put any glue, like they just get caught on all these like flowers and chipboard pieces, and you don't have to like even do anything with them. They just stick up. And this one is a little bit too much. Let me tuck it in a little bit. There we go. And I actually do have one final step, and that is to add these little diamonds, crystals from Prima, and I really like adding them around the page to just add a little bit extra beauty to them, to the layout. I just try to kind of spread them randomly where I think they look the best and move them up the layout. So I think one here, and then maybe one at the top over here. And I have two more, so I might as well finish them. One maybe at the bottom over here, and one last one here beside this fairy. I want to thank you so much for coming and seeing my creation. I really enjoy creating this on the spot, and I did not plan what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to make a garden for this picture of my daughter in this pretty pink dress, and I think I managed to do it, and I really like how it came out. So thank you so much for coming and seeing what I made, and I hope you come and visit my blog sometimes too.